Hi. Our culture is plagued by stereotypes, which I'm sure most of you can agree can have some of the most detrimental impacts on people's behaviors. More specifically, stereotypes surrounding disabilities, such as autism spectrum disorder, can be especially harmful, as autism is the most common and fastest growing developmental disability in the United States. And although it only affects 0.47% of students, its prevalence has increased by 289.5% over the past 10 years. Autism has become such an integral aspect in our society, but the misconceptions surrounding it are preventing it from being accepted and understood. Considering that most of the information the public knows about autism is from misrepresentations in books and films, it is imperative that these projections are questioned and scrutinized so that we are better able to recognize and accept the autistic community, especially since these representations in the media have attributed to the harmful disparity surrounding what most people assume what autism is like and the reality of what autism is like. Gaining a deeper understanding of autism would increase chances of an early diagnosis and support, lower incidences of bullying, and improve employment prospects. Now, the Autism Research Institute stated that the 5 main myths surrounding autism are that 1, autistic individuals never make eye contact. 2, autistic individuals are unable to verbally communicate. 3, they are unable to show and respond to affection. 4, they do not smile. And 5, they're not perceptive to cues from other individuals. However, each autistic individual is unique and has different challenges and behaviors. In fact, oftentimes, autistic individuals have very heightened senses and emotions, but are unable to interpret them. So, when people assume that some of these myths are true, such as that autistic individuals are unable to verbally communicate or feel empathy, it hinders the kind of opportunities that they are able to receive. Only 14% of adults with autism have jobs due to the negative connotations that come with it. Due to the negative connotations that come with it. Stereotypes affect everyone, not just the autistic individuals or the family members of autistic individuals. Psychologist Dow Dreschma explains that there are 2 main stereotypes when it comes to autism. The first being the scholarly type, accompanied by an exceptional and spectacular mind, like Einstein. The other, perhaps worse stereotype, is the, in a sense we're all autistic type, that suggests that autism is more of a personality behavior or not even a disorder at all. While these both completely misrepresent autism, they do so in different ways. However, both of them complicate the efforts for people to recognize the intricacy of autism. Once again, each autistic individual is different, and when people make assumptions about them, it is harmful to each autistic individual. So, how do we prevent this type of discrimination in the autistic community? Unfortunately, the hard truth is that the majority of people feel uncomfortable around people that they don't understand because they don't know how to treat or handle them. And without meaning to, people can isolate these people and treat them differently. People act upon their preconceptions and assume their stereotypes are true, when the fact is that each autistic individual has a unique form of their disorder. When dealing with something that where you have no personal experience with it, it's easier to prejudge it, dismiss it entirely, or categorize it as something negative. And it takes concerted effort to get over those barriers. No autistic person has the same issues or abilities. So when these stereotypes try to fit all of these millions of completely unique individuals into 2 categories, it only makes situations tougher for them. People don't even realize that if they just tried to understand autism and the autistic community, they could learn so much from them and be able to perceive the world from different points of view. For example, one of my favorite books of all time, the bestseller, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, portrays the point of view of an autistic boy as he struggles to find his role in the world. Throughout the book, he tries to become more independent from his father and fixates on solving the murder of his neighbor's dog. Unfortunately, because of his autism, everyone assumed that he had committed the crime because he was considered different, so it was easier for them to assume that he had done it. In reality, he was actually quite fond of the dog, and in the end he proved that he didn't do it. This book was especially insightful because people learned about what it might actually be like to be autistic, and that people's perceptions of autism can actually harm the autistic individual. This book was personally eye-opening for me because my older brother is on the autism spectrum as well. He has a specific combination of various autistic traits, such as inappropriate social interactions, obsessions with specific topics, and the inability to understand social emotional issues or non-literal phrases. My brother loves video games more than he loves me, and that's just a fact. He is inappropriate and rude and loud. He's almost never affectionate or nice to me, and he constantly gets frustrated at me for everything. But the toughest part about his autism is that my brother is ashamed to tell people he has it because he's afraid that they will make assumptions about him and call him retarded. My brother can understand that there are stereotypes that he might fall into for being autistic, but he can't even comprehend that it's common courtesy to remember your own sister's birthday. Doesn't that tell you how impactful these stereotypes can be? I believe that not only is it imperative for our society to look past these stereotypes, but it is imperative for the people to interact with and become more accepting of the autistic people. It is humanity's duty to try to better accept and understand the people in it, because that is how we grow. It has been really difficult for me to grow up with a brother who doesn't necessarily care about me and has difficulty functioning like other people, but I couldn't imagine my life without him. My brother has brought me serendipity, because I got to grow up with a brother who is unique and extraordinary, and has taught me how to become more tolerant and open-minded. My brother has passions and aspirations. He can be unbearably frustrating, but I don't know who I'd be without him. I have learned so much just overcoming some of the many difficulties that come with an autistic sibling. Autistic people have so much to say, but people aren't really listening. Stereotypes hurt. So please, if you learn anything from this talk, it's that you should be more open. Be more open and try to understand. Thank you.